Hey folks, so yeah, the dump has been good to me. Um, yeah, I hit there a couple of times and found some stuff. This basically happened over 2 weeks. We'll go into the finds that I got there. What I usually do is I have to go take my stuff to a guy who ships stuff across the border for me, and I go past the town dump every Monday, basically. So I found recently they have a reuse bin where you can drive in. If there's anything in there you want, you just take it for free, and it diverts good stuff from going into the landfill. So it's a great idea. Um, and I've had some luck. The first time I was actually just dropping off parts of a deck that I took apart when I was doing a renovation, and I caught out the corner of my eye what I thought was records, and it was a great stack of records. The last time through, I think I put a video up. I went in there and there were all these vintage Christmas ornaments. So yeah, so this one is going to be basically not record, sorry, the stuff I found from the dump and a few things that I actually managed to get at thrift stores, which over the past 2 weeks, not a great deal, but some pretty decent stuff. So about 2 weeks ago, I was driving by the reuse bin there, and I pulled up, and this guy was standing there. He is about 3 feet tall, maybe four. He was an M&M's display, and it's, I believe, the peanut M&M guy. I don't know his name, but still, that is like a super cool piece. It's really solid. It's actually on wheels. And I'll show you a spin all the way around here so you can catch the back of them too, which is kind of cool. And you get all the little M&Ms down here at the bottom. And it would have been like an in-store display. Here, I'll spin this back, which, it's kind of cool. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. You know what? I'll probably just keep it and use it to display stuff in that top tray on top. Actually, it had a little sign that said toys $5 each. Someone had handwritten put in there, so I think somebody else had that idea, but then realized I don't have the space for it and dropped it off. When I drove up, I got pretty excited and saw it, and I grabbed my camera, but the video is terrible. It's just me fumbling with the camera and trying to get this thing in. There's about maybe 30 seconds, which, doesn't look terrible. I might tag that on at the end. But yeah, that's really cool. And I mean, added bonus, not that I'm going to sell this one because I think it is kind of fun. At least I'm in love with it now. That's the way I go. I fall in love with things, and then eventually I'm like, I'll move that on. So for now, this one is just staying with me. But I did go look up sold comps on eBay, and there are several that have sold well over the $200 US mark. Plus, people are getting paying for shipping to get it shipped out to them. So, that was going to give. I mean, somebody would have taken this, I'm sure, if I hadn't have. But lots of stuff like this ends up at the end, after it gets too full or it's been in there for too long, it sadly ends up in the dump again, which sucks. But the one thing, so, that was a week back. I did a video in between here of like a record buy I did, so I didn't get a chance to do this one. And then today I went by the dump again, because that's Monday, and I was, why not? And so I drive up, and not by the reuse bin, but over by the electronics bin, because they have an electronics bin where you can drop off electronic stuff there too, was what looked like a pinball machine on its back. And the guy who sort of organizes that area was standing there, and I'm like, is that a pinball machine? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's not going to work or anything like that. I'm like, no. And I looked, and there was no playing field, and there was no back glass, sadly, because those look great when you hang them up. But I looked around the corner, and there was the playing field just sitting on the ground, and it's pouring rain out. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty horrible considering we're close to Christmas. And yeah, the guy was like, you can take that if you want. And so I got the playing field for it. Now, I have an earlier playing field from a Bagatelle game from Bally, and I have it hanging on my wall, and I love it. I think the artwork on these playing fields are just amazing. This one is an actual pinball. That one's a bagatelle with no flippers, but this one is an actual pinball game. I think, yeah, it's the King Company by Gottlieb, and I just love the artwork. Now, it's a bit dingy. It's, wet, and it's probably been sitting somewhere getting covered in dust for years. But everything, pretty much looks to be there. It's pretty cool all the way through. And then here's where the problem starts, though, because all the electronics are still on the back. It looks like someone just unplugged it. And they're all just there. Now, they weigh a ton. So here's the problem. If I ever do decide to hang this, keep it myself, or if I decide to sell it, it'll be much easier to sell without all that stuff on the back, because it is really heavy. You would have to do some heavy-duty bracketing to keep it up on a wall. And the other thing that I've seen people do with these, they just get a piece of glass across the front again and put some legs on it. You can go buy legs at any hardware store, and you got a pretty cool-looking coffee table. But again, it weighs an absolute ton, so probably not the best thing. So I'm probably going to take all the stuff off the back. The machine, it's not of the quality that I think somebody would be able to restore it. It's not a super valuable machine from what I've seen, even when it's fully restored. So I'm probably just going to take all the stuff off the back, and then just scrap that stuff and then clean this up. But that is going to clean up nicely. It's a wood base on the back there, and then that is all screen printed on there, I believe. And then, yeah, once you get a little bit of cleaner on there and then some nice oil, that'll shine up beautifully, and it'll look amazing. I just couldn't believe it. I grabbed it and put it in the thing, and the guy was just looking at me like, he's like, yeah, it's cool, man, but like you're kind of crazy. Like, I just got that vibe. And he's not wrong. Like, yeah, normal people wouldn't probably grab this. So then I wandered over into the reuse bin, and there were some great things in there. Like, it's clearly somebody's man cave went to the garbage bin. There were a couple of recliners and stuff in there, but this was in there. Now the ends of it have bashed out, but it is, not the best pool cue, but it's a cool looking vintage pool cue. It's got a nice brass grommet there on it. Some perloid things, some of them have fallen out. Leather handle on there, might be pleather, I don't know. BCE, I don't know anything about pool cues, but I couldn't leave behind because it's so damn cool. And it's got a look to it, right? I mean, it looks kind of like something, it probably is out of the 70s just by the look of it. And I just think that's like super cool. So yeah, I grabbed that. And again, keep in mind, all that stuff free. The rest of the stuff I got from thrift stores, and I don't get much from thrift stores anymore. It's really good stuff either gets picked right away, doesn't make it out onto the floor, or it just is overpriced in there, like for more than I could ask for in my store, retail store, in their showcases, which, that's their prerogative. It's their stuff. People give it to them for free. I wish I could get that. Although I did get free stuff, I can't complain. But yeah, so thrift stores, when I get stuff, it is amazing because it doesn't happen anymore. So this one, I don't know much about it. I just thought it looked cool, sort of got that anime look to it. It's a little motor car that, like, with its own battery controlled engine, and everything looks like it's there. I think it's from the 1990s, if I recall, might be early 2000s. But it was like $3, so I'm like, yep, no brainer there, I'll grab that. But this was the coolest thing. So when I was a kid, I remember Robo-Strucks, and what they were is they were wind-up things. It says motorized robot system, but there were no batteries on this. It was a wind-up mechanism, and they made these amazing robots that walked around, and this was perhaps the best one out of them all, called Slithor. He's a snail who sort of goes in and out and moves along. He's got guns and armor and everything. You can see sort of the back of it there. I think this was 1985. I'm going to say. It is one of the coolest toys of the 80s. And this one is, for the most part, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think it's ever been taken out of the baggie. Now, the baggie is open. Okay, can't get it out. Oh, great. You can see the cat attacked me the other day. What a love-hate relationship, my cat and I. But you can see it's been open, but everything is in there. And it's only been open to the point where I think they took the instructions out, which are in there as well, and went, that's too difficult for a kid to try to put together, and then just put it back in, because all the pieces are still on the plastic. It's largely like unused as far as I can tell. So super cool find. They do carry some value. I've seen them sell for up to 75 bucks or more. I bought this one more for me because it's just of my era of toys, and plus it's so cool. I mean, it really is a great space robot toy that, you know, it moves. It's got everything going for it. They're a great line. They had like dinosaurs and things like that. They were really great too. Big ones too. Those are really hard to find, but they're awesome. What it was they had them in there. They had a little auction, and it's a local thrift store. They had a little auction in there, and this was on the shelf with this walking robot, which I don't think is that old. It does say Radio Shack, so it's got to be, you know, pre-2000s, because Radio Shack in Canada, I think, became the source around then. This has some of the stuff in there, but I don't think it's terribly old. Like I said, probably 1990s, I would imagine. Might be 1980s. I don't know. I haven't been able to find another online. It's got all the parts, but it is, somebody started putting it together. But the two of them were in the thing, and it said opening bid of $15 or buy it all now for $30. And I'm like, you know what, 30 bucks. The Slither is worth, you know, at least double that. So it's a cool toy to have, and one that will probably more than likely stay with me. Again, the whole I'm in love with it now thing, but will I be later? I don't know. And I went to another thrift store down the street that usually doesn't get a ton of stuff, but this time they're more like a liquidator store than a thrift store. And they get antiques and collectibles in with a bunch of other stuff. They buy out estates and go to auctions and things. And these were in there. And again, these are right in my wheelhouse. 1970s and 60s Viewmaster reel packages, the Harlem Globetrotters. And these are all complete. And some of them are even sealed. There's the Lone Ranger from the TV show. This is awesome because I'd never heard of this before, but I remember the Croft TV shows. And this one's sealed, and it's Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. It's awesome. It's still sealed. And then For the Love of Benji. I mean, believe it or not, for those who don't know, Benji movies were like one of the biggest selling like movies when they came out in the 1970s. They were a huge family hit. Most people don't know about Shaggy DA, that's sealed as well. Herbie Brides Again for Herbie the Love Bug. This was it's like my childhood was spent watching these Disney reruns in the 70s and into the 80s, and all the Herbie films were usually on Sunday. So that one's awesome. Sealed again. And Laverne and Shirley, sealed again. And he had $5 each on them, and I forget how many were there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. I think he gave them to me for like $30. So, you know, pretty good deal. I think there's 8 or 9 there. I didn't count. So yeah, that was a pretty good pickup at a thrift store. I got a couple of records too this week, but I'm going to put them with another record group and do another video on that later. And so yeah. And then the last thing was at a Salvation Army, and they were on a weird shelf, so this is maybe why they got missed. Were multiple sets, complete sets, and they are gem mint of the Batman Series 2 cards. These are the O-Pee-Chee, the Canadian issue ones, because I'm in Canada, and they're complete with everything, including the sort of insert chase cards. Not really chase cards back then, but that's what they would call them now. And it's a complete set of the Series 2, and there were like, what, 5 of them? 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. And they were only $2.99 for the set. They are gem mint. And interestingly enough, not that I sort of do this sort of thing, but people have been sending away some of the cards from this to get graded, because there are some in here. This was one of my favorite Batmans, by the way. There's shots of Tim Burton, the director. And I guess that is considered by some to be his rookie card. Yikes. And so people are sending it off and getting graded, and the high grade ones are selling, you know, fairly, not huge money, like $40 type thing, $50, which from what I understand is probably the cost of grading anyways. But, you know, people want his rookie card. So yeah, but these are all like really fantastic shape. That one's got a bit of a ding on the front, but the rest are almost all perfect. So yeah, that was it. That was like basically a pretty good week overall. So I get a giant M&Ms, a busted pinball machine, pretty dope pool cue for free from the dump. Like, I'm never gonna stop going there now. Like, this could become a major problem. And it's funny because my dad and I always used to joke. He always used to say, Jay, if we had the pick of the dump every day, we'd be rich people. And I'm not getting rich, but man, I'm getting some cool stuff, and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, it is December, near the end. We're, I think, the 18th home stretch for Christmas right now. I managed to get a ton of, well, not a ton, but a lot of food donations that I'm going to be taking over to the Salvation Army food bank here in town. I got the aluminum Christmas tree up in the store. We did a 20% off everything in the store if you bring in non-perishable food items, and it's been fairly successful. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and yeah, you know, this time of year, you got to try to think of other people, because if you're lucky enough to have your family around you, and you're not hungry, and your kids are happy and have toys, you should probably spend a little bit of your day and maybe try and go give back to the community a bit. And my customers have come through in a big way, and I'm going to give them a donation as well, so that some people can have some quality food in these hard times. And then yeah, that got a bit deep. Anyways, I hope you all have a good Christmas. I really do. The world needs more Christmas spirit, even if you don't believe in Christmas and that's not your something you celebrate. Just the spirit of peace and love, that'd be great. All right, y'all. Didn't expect to go there at the end. Hope you're all able to find some cool stuff, but I don't think you're gonna find cooler stuff than this week. Bye.